Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Hey, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. We got a great show for all of you here today. I am so thrilled and really been waiting so long to introduce all of you to an amazing woman. You know, someone that has been out in the world helping all of us have a deeper connection. And so what I mean by that is that here we are today. And sometimes we're just, our minds are so caught up in what we think we're doing or not doing. Today, I get to introduce you to New Soul Radio with my friend and colleague, Ruby Bedi, joining me here today. You know, how to be you in today's world. It is the New Soul Science. And what does the New Soul Science mean to all of us? For those of you that have not really thought about what's going on. Why does it feel uncomfortable? Today is just an introduction to what New Soul is all about and New Soul Radio. And we're talking about New Soul Science. This is something that Ruby has been teaching people all over the world. You know, today I get to share with you somebody I've gotten to know over the past several months. And what does this mean to be this powerful spiritual thought leader, you know, a modern mystic, you know, clairsentient, born in India, and then here in the world, stepping out and helping each of us understand that we are absolutely brilliant in who we are. But today you're going to hear about her talents, whether it's clairvoyance, clairsentient, clairaudient, whatever it is. The one thing I want you to know is that her life changed. You're going to hear how. And as a result of the change, she is now out in the world helping all of us do the same. Ruby, it's great to have you here. Welcome.
Hi, Pat. How are you?
Awesome.
Thank you so much for having me. That's. I hope I can meet your introduction.
Oh, boy. You've already met the introduction and beyond. I'm excited about today because, you know, we're talking about, first of all, New Soul Radio, but also New Soul Science. And, you know, the question of a New Soul Science really is embedded in thinking about each of us and how we show up in the world today. And so being a modern day spiritual thought leader, you know, this is unique. The question really is, how has the journey shown up for you? And how did you know what pathway to take?
That's kind of quite interesting. My journey, I was born in India. And the journey, as far as I can remember, was with a lot of questions, because very early in life, I could communicate with, the plants, the leaves. I knew how many rose petals would there be next day, or which leaves would fall off. I kind of had an in into things. I could see into things. So I knew if the storm was coming, and I knew what time. So I would play with all of this very early. And I thought this was very natural for all people. All of us have this, that we are able to see into, look into each other. So but there were so many questions as I grew older, because why was the world, the inner world that I was communicating with, had a brilliant language, had a brilliant code through which it was working, the principle. And yet when I looked at the people, there was a misfit. I just didn't fit because I felt that people were wearing, somehow they didn't have the same language the universe has. They were communicating in a different way. They couldn't see each other. So there was a big split. And I had questions. So I felt I didn't fit in this outer reality. So it was not about who am I? That question never came to me. The question was, what should I do now? What should I do to fit? I also had a sense that I'm here to do something, but I didn't know what very early. So it was very interesting. I was looking for a God because obviously I was introduced to God. I came from a religious background. So my mother was Hindu, my father was Sikh, my nanny was a Buddhist, and I went to a convent. So, so, if I had to get good marks, then I would go to the church because with the Mother Superior and all those nuns, who were teaching me, I was selling like pictures of Christ and Mother Mary, for school promotion. So that was, but I thought that I'm not sure if Jesus could be my God because, he doesn't have the riches. Indian gods wear so much jewelry and weapons. They have all this power. And I thought, how can this poor lonely man be, the son of God? So in my childhood era, I actually had a lot of questions, just searching who is God and who will answer my questions. So basically, what is the power that is looking at me? I always felt that I was being looked at. And I could actually feel like a hand on the shoulder, but it wasn't a hand. Sometimes it was just the hand of the wind or the breeze. And I could feel this throughout. And I thought, something is communicating with me 24/7. I can feel it. What is it? And again, what do I do? So a lot of lost years, because just in my own dream world, living my own reality, hiding after a while from people, not saying anything, not believing people because I could see that they were saying something, meaning the other, and then doing something else. So the levels of trust weren't there. So just terrible despair through my childhood, just search. So I went to possibly every channeler, every astrologer I could lay my hands on, just for somebody to tell me that what should I do? So, or to recognize my soul. So that was kind of a journey. And it wasn't until 1992 that I came into this awakening, which was very sudden. But before that, I'm very ambitious. So I had developed a lot of businesses and did a lot of different things, traveled the world for sages. So just to be seen, just somebody who would tell me, right? I wanted my inner world, which was so bright and so rich, to match my outer world. So the desire was full-blown enlightenment, outside, inside. Because, in my dream states, I could visit people, or not even in dream states. I would close my eyes. I could be anywhere, talk to anybody, do healing. I didn't even know it was healing. I was just like a bomb, bringing peace to people because I hated suffering. I hated my suffering. I think my suffering and pain of not knowing what to do compelled me to even help others. But the sudden awakening was brilliant, where 1992 in Canada, Calgary, one morning I just woke up. Like, it's all in my book, The Soul Promise, but it was quite a traumatic awakening because it was very hard on my physical body. But it was brilliant. And then many worlds opened up, many dimensions. Now I could openly communicate with not just prophets, sages, or light entities, or call it alien intelligence, but there was just a brilliant eye or a code of communication that developed. And very soon after that, Pat, I started to, within 6 weeks, I closed down all my businesses, pulled down the shutters on every business, and just started to help people. Just find their calling.
Well, you know why I love this story, Ruby, because, there are so many people in today's world that are agonizing over the events of the day. And what I mean by that is, I was talking a little bit about it before on air. What I mean by that is that, it's hard to turn on a channel, or it's hard to hear about what's happening in the abuse of women right now, especially in the United States. I'm sure those of you that are not in the United States, you're kind of watching and not making any sense of it. The other thing is we're all being drawn to a new level of truth-telling. And if we're not willing to stand firm in what the truth means, then the truth will be revealed in other ways. I want to take a short break. When we come back, I want to talk with you, Ruby, about, the new soul science. And what is it about the emergence of truth, beginning with us, the emergence of truth and our society today that's calling forth a new science, a new soul, and a new way of being. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back.
Like a sound you hear that lingers in your ear, but you can't forget from sundown to sunset. Nah. It's all in the air. You hear it everywhere.
Tune in to Lucid Planet Radio with Dr. Kelly Neff. This hit show will illuminate your senses and empower you beyond your daily stressors and hardships. Renowned psychologist and author Dr. Kelly will captivate you with far-reaching topics and amazing guests as you wake to the greatest version of yourself. Learn to tap into your intuitions, think critically about our world, heal emotional and psychological wounds, and follow your passions to live your dreams. The Lucid Planet. Welcome home. Visit lucidplanetradio.com for more information.
What is a brilliant culture, and how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you align your culture with your business strategy for exceptional results. Looking for a culture that drives organizational excellence? Listen to Cultural Brilliance Radio, the second and fourth Friday of each month at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern on Transformation Talk Radio. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit culturalbrilliance.com.
Are you looking for the perfect setting for your next workshop or retreat? At Spirit Fire Meditative Retreat Center, cultivating consciousness is what we do best. Our guests count on us to create an atmosphere that supports serenity and well-being. We lead from the heart and create space for the mind. Freshly prepared meals designed with local and organic ingredients, 95 acres of beautiful woods and pastures, and a facility built with green in mind. This is what you'll find at Spirit Fire. For more information, visit spiritfireretreatcenter.com.
Stay juicy. Tune in to Your Juicy Love with me, Una Drake, co-hosting monthly with Dr. Pat, and every second Monday at 12 p.m. on Transformation Talk Radio. My show, Your Juicy Love, helps you find the dynamic, life-affirming love you've always wanted. Transform your relationships and bring peace, joy, and juicy, juicy love to planet Earth. For more information, visit unadrake.com.
Tune in to Mainstream Metaphysics Radio to harness your connection with the universe to effect change for optimal success and happiness. Named one of the country's top psychics, Eve now brings her insights and gifts to this weekly hit call-in show, joined by visionaries, leaders, and gifted others, but mostly you. Jot it down, Thursdays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com.
Best-selling author, spiritual life, and business coach Joe Nunziata brings his higher energy and no-nonsense style to people who are ready to make powerful changes now. Wake up, step up, power up with a shot of Joe. Join Joe the second and fourth Wednesdays at 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern for 30 minutes of high energy, no nonsense, and powerful tools to make powerful changes. Visit joenuns.com. That's JOENUNZ.com.
Forget from sundown to sunset. Nah. It's all in the air, you hear it everywhere. No matter what you do, it's gonna grab a hold on you. California
everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. I'm so thrilled to be introducing all of you to new soul radio host, Ruby Bedi, joining me here today, how to be you in today's world. Today, we're talking about new soul science. What does it mean for you? And Ruby, I mean, this was sharing your story and, how life gets from where you were to where you are. I think it is so fascinating. I think each of us have had our own version of awakening. I know you and I have very similar backgrounds, and especially from a spiritual point of view. But, today we're looking at today's world.
Yes,
and we've had so many people, right, Ruby, that have said, this is what's going on here. This is what's going on there. But the one thing I know for sure is that truth is wanting to come forward. What is your take on today's world?
It is really brilliant and crazy exciting. We've entered a whole new world. It's like the beginnings of a new world. It started actually a few years, quite about 4 or 5 years ago, but it's really come to a climax where it's so visible, and we can tell that it has come to a climax because of the chaos. Because anytime the chaos increases, like death, disease, distress, divorce, and when that increases, we know that it's time. We've entered the age of enlightenment. So what does that mean for us? It means the age of truth. We have no choice but to be transparent. We have on our planet now, Pat, we have electromagnetic fields, we have dimensions, new frequencies, new intelligence, new power supply. So imagine what happens when your core consciousness shifts, when the base intelligence powers up to a whole different quality, refined quality of consciousness. And when your power source, the fuel, which is the fuel that feeds the mind and body, shifts, a new mind is born at that time. A new human being is born. A new consciousness is born. So manifestation codes change. The rules change, the principle changes, new research comes in, new systems come in, new governance. All of that is a result of the newness. We can see it. So we can see the old dying. And Pat, what happens, people who don't lead full lives, they have a very tragic death. There's a fight. They don't want to die. There's a fight, there's struggling, there's regret, there's shame, there's all kinds of stuff. So we're actually meeting a death phase right now. So we need to actually recalibrate with the new intelligence. Another very fantastic thing that consciousness does, it automatically upgrades our mind and body to the new level of intelligence. We don't need to upgrade. In iPhone, we have to press a button, upgrade, and then it's upgraded. But when it comes to consciousness, no. Every human being, whoever is awake or alive on the planet, will be upgraded. But recalibration just means recognizing that there's a new system in place. The old system does not exist. So the old doors are closed. So we need to and transparency is one of the codes. I'm coming up with some brilliant, 5 declarations that will help people to recognize and recalibrate, which we will talk about, I'm sure, later in our show. Yeah. But transparency, it is the age of truth. So we are seeing it. We've been groping in the dark. Now, whether it's sexism, ageism, racism, we've all been groping in the dark. So this has to be exposed. This has to be, and I think it is our job not to make it a personal, you want to correct a system. So there's better laws, there's better systems. But we won't cry over my cup of spilt milk. Because the personal consciousness, we are moving into the we consciousness, the collective consciousness. I can't be spending time just on my worries, my thoughts, which don't even matter. Because even your organism, the level of intelligence has shifted. If we live through old memory, we are going to become ghosts in our own body. So we can't be just spending all this time, why me, why me, why me? We already know that the we has a problem. Well, let us fix the system. And we have the ability. We've got brilliant people already. Pat, another exciting stuff that just drives me crazy. I want to jump out of my skin. That's how exciting it is that every master, every light being on every plane right now is in physical manifest on this planet Earth to help. These transitions happen after hundreds of years. They don't happen that quickly, where a total system breakdown occurs and a new system happens. Then it takes 200-300 years to evolve the system. But it's very seldom where the system crashes. And we can see that in politics today. We can see it in communication. We can see it in relationships. We can see how allergic we've become to things. Look at the state of health. Our medicines are killing us. Something that should heal us is now killing us. So it just shows that we've reached the end. So now recalibration is probably the answer.
It's really fascinating to listen to, the message you're bringing forth. And we're going to hear a lot more about it. Later on in the show, we're going to talk about the declarations. But one of the things I find really interesting now is what you said about the masters are all coming forward. And I think, how do you know they are? Well, here's how one way you can know. Things that are being brought to light now, things that have been going on for decades and decades and decades, even longer than that, are now being brought to light. So there's a new light shining on things that we've been just kind of living with, but now that the light is on them, no, we have a new level of awareness. And because of that new level of awareness, we cannot go back. And I think that's what you said before. These old operating systems, even if we wanted to go back to an old version of something, it wouldn't be compatible.
Yes.
It wouldn't be compatible with the bigger picture of things. Isn't that really the discomfort that people are feeling now? Oh, we just can't go back, Ruby, to the way it was.
Yes, it's absolutely true. Like if you take relationships, the type of relationships and expectations we've had of each other, they don't work anymore.
Right.
Nobody wants to be burdened with expectations, which we were proud of them earlier, that I will take responsibility of you. It was a whole different scene then. When it comes to even spiritualism, our old techniques, methodologies of meditations don't work, Pat.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, the old drawn-out systems, hardcore practices of enlightenment are no longer relevant. So our even very specific meditations to recalibrate. Remember, all we need is, we're not reaching a state of enlightenment. We already have it in our bodies, in our cell. We've gotten it. The shift is so dramatic that it has enlightened everybody. It's moved you into the bubble of that age of enlightenment. Now, just to recognize that by doing 2-3 things that maybe it's a slight habits. There's a power to habits, we can just cultivate a couple of habits and start to access the new intelligence. But if we think that we're going to go into the old and then use those old systems, they're redundant. They're irrelevant. They are absolutely redundant. So our practices of meditation, they can't be long because we don't have that mind anymore. Our focus allows us only to focus for so many seconds, few minutes. We want to do so many things within the day. It's a experience-based energy now. All we can do is fast experiences. Did you notice the speed, how that's changed, Pat? How rushed we are?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, it's kind of like we're watching the speed of things, and at the same time, we're very mindful of the authenticity of the thing now.
Yes.
And that's why we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Ruby's going to take us on a journey about the declarations. And moving forward, Ruby is going to be the host of a fabulous show we're going to be doing with her. And we're going to tell you more about that. What's the best website, Ruby, for people to find out more about you? And I know there's lots more to come.
My website is rubybedi.co. So if you go on that, it'll take you into also the Enlighten Global, the word format platform. And it'll take you also onto the self-learning courses that we're just starting to put out for the purposes of recalibration. So it's rubybedi.co.
Yeah, and for those of you out there, Ruby actually has created a New Soul Science, an introductory course about everything we're talking about, but mostly about how can you recalibrate. And so you can find out more about this introductory course. As we said before, you can find this, go to her website. There's going to be information there. When we come back, what are these declarations? What are they? Why are they important to bring back integrity in the world? Why is that important? Why was it that in 2000, I decided to study integrity and research integrity? And why now is it now coming to bear as Ruby has created a way for us to not just understand it, but to live it. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Curious about the meaning of life? Do you want to deepen your spiritual practice? The School for Esoteric Studies offers online training to spiritual seekers from all paths of life and individual coaching. Our courses synthesize Eastern and Western spiritual traditions based on meditation, study, and service applied to everyday life. The school also organizes group meditations each year to benefit humanity. Whether you're just beginning to reflect on the spiritual side of your life or are a more experienced spiritual seeker, the school warmly welcomes you to join our group. To learn more about our courses and services, please visit esotericstudies.net. That's esotericstudies.net.
Chances are you've been on your conscious journey for many years, and you've learned a lot about manifesting a wonderful life. But if you are like many others on their spiritual paths, you may still have some area of your life where you're feeling stuck. Perhaps you've read many books, attended lots of workshops, listened to many programs, and done plenty of inner work, and yet there is still something you'd like to change. With all the information out there, it may be hard to see the forest for the trees. Do you want to get a bird's eye view of that forest so you are empowered to navigate more effectively? Do you want to know the key to positive change and develop a personalized strategy for creating the changes you desire? Please join me, Christine Upchurch, for a 4-week webinar series beginning January 9th. Start your new year right and embrace the vibration of change. For more information, visit ChristineUpchurch.com. That's ChristineUpchurch.com or call 425-999-9836.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit JenRoyster.com for more information.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Amber Teal, founder of The Healthy Edge, is bringing you the hit show Healthy Edge Radio, living with power, passion, and purpose. Amber provides the support and tools necessary for you to finally release the weight and emotions that are hidden beneath the weight. Tune in each month on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information on how you can take the next step with Amber, visit getthehealthyedge.com.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm so excited. This is where I get to have some time with all of you to introduce you to someone who is changing the world and bringing the message forward and inviting each and every one of us to do the same. It is the place that we all get to come from. And we're going to talk with Ruby today about the New Soul Science. We're going to talk about what it means. But in New Soul Radio, fabulous show that you all are going to get to hear with Ruby as well, will tap into those things for us to call forth in our lives so that we can change. Here we know that we're in and we feel a sense of chaos. And yet we know that there's something in ourselves, in our consciousness, that knows how to move beyond that. Today, Ruby has taken us on a journey. And as we said before, you can go to Ruby's website, Bedi, Bedi.co. And once you get there, you'll be able to find lots of information and other places to go. But today, it's just a brief introduction of more that is coming. Ruby, we said we were going to share the declarations with people today, but also we were talking during a break about the reasons for the chaos in the world today. The reasons for the chaos and what the declarations are in helping us move forward over the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, we've been in a slower time, one can say.
Mm-hmm.
So what has happened is that the time has shifted. The speed of time has shifted. Even the earth beat, the beat on the earth planet has changed. Our beat has shifted slightly. So we're moving a lot faster. We can see it. We get so many inspirations now, so many ideas now. We can act so quickly. It doesn't take manifestation, occurs really quickly with all this technology, right? So we are in a fast zone, one may say. Here we won't have time to access our belief systems. We won't have time to even examine what is going on in our head. Keep reflecting, right? So the first even declaration is recognizing that the speed of time has shifted. Here you will need, of course you can have long-term goals, but you will need flexible goals. It's a floating consciousness. It's a very flexible consciousness at this time. So we better be ready to change our minds on the spot. Every situation, Pat, will dictate what belief and what code of conduct we want to use, per the situation. But the internal system is created with the we, because this is the age of enlightenment.
Yeah.
It is we, because we are already now coded with we and the transparency factor, we won't be able to hurt each other. So I'm not going to be able to make a decision that will harm the world. I won't even be able to entertain too many ideas for too long without getting trapped or caught if I want to hurt somebody else, right? Because the visibility factor the mirror is so clean. So here it is, living moment to moment. It's not just moment to moment, it's situation to situation that we're going to, and very, very flexible. So our inner stability is not going to come from resting in a lifestyle like that, Or now I've got my home, now I've got my children, now I've got my job. There's no stability now in any of that because the wealth conditions are changing, the personal relationships changing, everybody is doing their own thing. So we're going to have to find peace and steadfastness in the cells of our body, in the breath. That's our only ground. Our resting ground is our human body. That's the home for human consciousness. So once we get to this, we become so flexible. Now we can switch ideas. Now we can switch inspiration and apply. So it's just, I'm kind of loving this fast speed. Now, when we don't recognize and don't recalibrate ourselves through certain techniques that we've developed, then we'll be at odds. We'll never be able to, we'll feel out of control. And how many people are feeling out of control? You know,
I think we are. Yeah. I think we are. I mean, one of the things that I'm struck by, Ruby, and I want to ask you about this, and you're going to share the declarations. Someone said to me, they said this. They said, you know, it seems like the women of the world are feeling the most, and this is I'm going to just share the word they used, discomfort/discord right now. Mm-hmm. And I just looked at him and I said, I think you're right. And I think the other part, let's finish the sentence. Mm-hmm. And do you find that those women in their discomfort, discord are taking action based on that? And I think that's the part we're not used to now. We're not used to, all right, I'm not aligned, I'm not comfortable, I'm actually in quite a bit of pain, and I'm doing nothing. Or, I feel all that, and there's something for me to do, and I know what it is.
You know, personally, this is being soul-wise. I hate to group myself, even as the woman of the world, as the male of the world, as the Indians of the world, as the age. I hate that. I really think that we need to just go to our soul. This is what's bothering me. This is what's distressing me. What can I do to change my life right now? Mm-hmm. And if every person on this planet starts to think like that, we won't have these cults, you know, we won't have a lot of segregated, separate groups going, because each human can start to now think, what do I do? And there's so many answers. We don't need even to compete with men. We don't need to, competition is totally out. Comparison is totally out. It's so redundant and old-fashioned now, you know. It's like wearing old clothes from 40s or 30s almost. Right? So they don't fit. It's not a fit. So somewhere along the line, see yourself, this is, as a spiritualist, that's the only advice I can give you, that see the soul, be soul-wise, see yourself. What is the soul? It is the power behind your mind and body. It is the fuel. Start to feed that so there's clarity, and start to change your lives accordingly. This is the most brilliant of times. I never expected. I have been into the universe. I can see other worlds. I can communicate with other worlds. I never felt even this would happen. To me, it is the biggest surprise that in my lifetime, this would occur, you know. So there's no time to actually notice the wrong, fix the wrong. See the wrong, fix the wrong. See the wrong, fix the wrong. And don't build too much on the wrong, because we will be sidetracked very quickly. Because there's people who are coming at a fast speed, will be railroaded. Our dreams will be shut down. Our bodies will become numb because nobody would listen. Have you noticed, Pat, nobody wants to listen to complainers anymore?
Yeah, I mean, not only do they don't want to listen, but boy, you know, you get unfriended on Facebook. Ruby, I would like to skip the break so that we can share the 5 declarations, because I think they're so pivotal for what we're talking about today. And share with our listeners how they emerged for you.
Yeah. You know, I'm always waiting at the doorway, on the gateway. My consciousness is just established in the gateway between worlds. That's where I rest. That is my home. So I can pick up every mail in my inbox immediately from the universes, right? And then I start to broadcast it through Facebook Live or whatever else, right?
Yeah.
So I have been watching the chaos, and I didn't look at the chaos as something wrong. I just saw that I was waiting for the messages to come because the chaos had increased so much. I knew that things are being broken down because there's breakthroughs, right? So I was waiting for all of this. And of course, I start to follow a lot of my techniques. All these techniques that I've developed, it's basically from my own experience. So I started to create new techniques to download this, what was about to come. I knew it would come. Chaos cannot come without a new code. You have to have a new code, new rules, new principles, right? So because there's new frequencies. So I was communicating with them so creating these inner codes per se. And then these 5 things came through very simply. And one of them, as we were talking, that it is the speed of time. So in our courses and our radio shows, we'll be discussing a lot more about this. But first thing is basically to become flexible and not to just cry over what's wrong, and just give yourself the freedom to change your mind even from situation to situation. So you could be talking to a child, you can say, this is what I want, this is what I want to do. When you're talking to the boss, you can say, this is what I want to do. It's all about what do you want to do. One of the declarations is less self-reflection, which is actually not of use anymore. Go into action, full-on action. One of the declarations is about being bold. When were we last bold? We've been meek. We've been shy. And all this suppression has come in us because of our so-called shame, so-called whatever it was, that we should not be doing this, we should not be hurting the world, we should not be doing all these inner false notions and concepts of we holding each other down somehow for no reason. I don't know why. But now bold is really, really the most beautiful thing, So it is, take whatever you need to do. Every action has to be bold, every action of yours, so we can get there faster. So this is another technique or an attitude that we bring on. And we can recalibrate ourselves to be the boldest self we can be. We have very short time now because the systems are being created. So we want to also, Pat, feed the collective. How I think, how I act, and how I breathe. My breath is creating the collective consciousness. When I'm sleeping, I'm feeding the collective consciousness. So somewhere, if I'm feeding boldness, peace, clarity, truth, a child will be born with all these qualities because I am living it today. I can impact. So this is the power of the soul, I think. So one of them is being bold, then the time being, and there's a few others we have that keep us. Can you hear me, Pat? Is that?
Yes. Yeah, okay. I picked up a bit of a static right there. But I think that what we're talking about is that we have been able to kind of sit on our laurels, so to speak. That's an expression. Yes. And I think that if we sit any more than a nanosecond, we're going to develop calluses. We're not going to be able to do the things that we want to do in the world. And I think that's what the declarations that you're sharing are talking to us about. The part of this that I'm so eager to really participate in the classes and the things that you're doing is this. The parts of us that do not feel confident about our own ability to take that immediate action, that's what really causes us to stay in the chaos. Listen, 14 years ago, I dialed a wrong phone number. I didn't hang up. I pulled out a credit card within 10 minutes, talking to somebody I didn't know about buying an hour of airtime at an internet-only station and spending thousands of dollars doing it back before there was ever internet radio. Everybody around me, Ruby, thought I had lost my mind.
Yes.
But for me, it felt like breathing. And sometimes, don't we have to learn now how to be in this new soul energy?
Yes, we have to, because there's a whole new, one may say, learning system, and unlearning is very important too. What do we do with everything that we've learned, Pat? That is the question, because that's going to come in our way. Our memories are old, and they have the old system in place. So what do we do with all these ideas and concepts and belief systems that we have? Because when we think them, we energetically give them space in the collective, in our aura, and then entire space and the universe, in the worlds. How are we going to destroy that energy, Pat? That is the key. Because otherwise we will be, a doubt will frame us, confusion will come into our lives. So we can learn to be creators, which we are, through certain modalities, new techniques, powerful creators in the new world. But we must learn to be powerful destroyers of the old too. This is where our meditation techniques, specific techniques come in. You've got to not just download the new, you have to kill the old, because the old will kill us otherwise, because it's so strong right now. Have you noticed how strong people's opinions are?
Very, very
radical,
strong.
to the point of radical. They're willing to die for their belief system, and harass entire groups of people just because they want to be proven right. Look at the state we're in. So who is going to destroy the old system? We will. And these are part of the techniques that we're going to teach in our courses, so we don't get haunted. Because remember, whatever is in our thought space, our energy space, our sphere, that's what we're going to dream of at night. That's what will grow into us. So we need to consciously have 5-minute techniques. Our techniques are so brilliant. They're 5 minutes, 10 minutes, no more. We don't even go past 5 minutes, because if you're doing more than 5 minutes, 6 minutes of a deep meditation technique, it will take you somewhere else, because we just need plug-in time. Remember, we just need to be plugged in for a very short while. So we can just quickly download and quickly scratch out, destroy something that's no longer needed. So these are the two aspects of the techniques that we need to follow. So this destruction is very powerful for me. When we destroy that space, we already are bold creators. We don't need to learn how to create, but we need to learn how to destroy for sure.
Well, I think what you're saying is powerful in a lot of ways. I don't think that we realize how the shadows of our past dictate the activities and direction of our future. And holding on to old ideas, old times, old loves, old stories, the job promotion I didn't get in 1982, all of the above. We think sometimes we've let go of them, but we haven't, because we know those stories, Ruby, right?
Pat, the sad part is that we defined ourselves through these silly stories. They're not silly, okay? I don't mean to downplay anything. They're important to people. This is what created them. But what created you now is not needed. There's another source of creation, right? So the stories have to be put away. Even if it's a nice story, put it away. Because every nice story has a bad chapter in it somewhere.
Yeah. Oh boy.
It doesn't just come a good story. Somewhere it's a bad ending, somewhere. And another thing is, have you noticed in our old times, I'm calling them old times, our growth was coming through pain. It was coming through extreme suffering, right?
Yes.
We don't need to do that anymore.
No, we don't. And I think that, you know, that is the one thing that I've heard you talk about that is so vital and important. You know, somebody said something once to me about a week or two ago that all spiritual growth comes from pain. And I said, why? I mean, why do we believe that? I mean, I'm not saying that I haven't had enormous spiritual growth from some of the, you know, toughest times in my life.
Yes.
But I haven't gotten all of it.
Yes.
But we do, but we have that belief. We have these beliefs.
Yes,
Beliefs, Ruby.
Another belief, another myth that I want to kill is there's something to be said about spirituality. Spirituality and the spiritual techniques build the foundation. They build the strong foundation so you can download the universe. You can actually live out the entire universe. There's nothing to do with the belief system. There's nothing to do with you being right or good or proper. That is the mind, right? The spiritual system simply gives you the strongest foundation, the 4 pillars, which is your intelligence, your intuition, your energy, and your awareness. It gives you these 4 ingredients, the building blocks. This is what spirituality does. When these buildings or these blocks are clear, your foundation is cleared, you're able to download the most refinest form of consciousness, quality consciousness, flexible consciousness, right? So this is what spirituality does. It has nothing to do, if there's a belief system in place about the world, about you, then it's all the mind. So somewhere along the line, it is the time now to build, through the techniques, to build the strongest system. It's already upgraded. It's updated. We just need to connect with that system. It's already in us. The code is in us. We just need to get it.
Yeah. And this is really, I think, the great way for us to kind of, you know, wrap this up today, because we're going to be talking about this in weeks and weeks and months to come. And most importantly is this. This is not just for a handful of people. Everyone can do this.
This is for everyone. And I have, the good news is the stars are aligned perfectly. Like this is the time, all the lines, all the dots are connected. So we can reach, like it could be spontaneous enlightenment. And it is also the time to create the best legacy possible. It's not creating something that we want to leave behind. It's creating of new structures and systems. And the first system we're going to create is our mind and body. And that is the system we need to create. That's a brilliant legacy of creating your own human system first, your own organism.
I love it. Ruby, thank you so much for today. Thank you so much. We've got lots more we're going to be talking with you about. Thank you for a fabulous show. Last question.
Thank you, Pat.
What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with?
What do I want? Let's do more of this. Let's talk more about this. Let's broadcast more till every ear is able to listen to us. This is my wish and desire.
I love it. Ruby Bedi, everyone. I'm Dr. Pat. For more information, go to rubybedi.co. We've got lots planned for all of you. Until next time, much love and blessings. Ruby, much love and blessings to you.
Thank you. Blessings to you, Pat. Thank you so much. So grateful.
All right. Everyone, another hour on Transformation Talk Radio coming up right now. Thank you.
Preceding audio was via a Skype call.